In a sun-drenched Roman city, a young Christian named Alara walked with a light heart. She shared her faith openly, her words like seeds scattered on fertile ground. Many listened, drawn to her gentle spirit and the hope she offered. But not everyone welcomed her message. High Priest Valerius, a man whose heart was as cold as the marble of his temple, saw her as a threat. He watched her from the shadows, his eyes filled with a dark envy. He couldn't stand the way the people flocked to her, their faces filled with a light he could never inspire. He decided he had to put an end to her influence, to extinguish her flame for good. One day Valerius confronted Alara in the bustling marketplace. He declared, "Your words are poison, weakening the heart of our great city. You speak of a kingdom unseen, but I will show you the power of this world." He challenged her to a test, a public spectacle designed to break her spirit and discredit her faith. He announced that he would bring forth a man tormented by a fierce, untamable madness, a man no one had ever been able to help. "If your God is real," Valerius sneered, "let him heal this man. If not, you will renounce your faith before all or face the consequences." Alara's heart pounded, but she looked at the crowd, their faces a mixture of fear and hope, and she found her strength. She agreed. The next day, the entire city gathered in the grand amphitheater. The air was thick with tension. Soldiers dragged in a man named Cassian, chained and thrashing. His eyes were wild, his cries echoing off the stone walls. He was a terrifying sight, a man lost in a storm of his own mind. The crowd gasped. Many whispered that this was a test no one could pass. Valerius stood tall, a cruel smile on his face, certain of his victory. Alara walked towards Cassian, her steps calm and steady. She didn't carry any special herbs or ancient scrolls, only the quiet conviction in her heart. She knelt before the tormented man, ignoring the chains and the rage. She looked past his madness and saw the flicker of a soul trapped within. She spoke to him, not with loud commands, but with a soft, gentle voice. She told him of love, of peace, and of a power greater than any torment. She didn't try to cast out a demon, she tried to reach a brother. She simply prayed, her words a quiet stream in the deafening silence of the arena. As she prayed, the change began. Cassian's violent struggles lessened. His wild cries softened into whimpers. The crowd watched, breathless. It wasn't a sudden, explosive miracle. It was slow, gentle, like a sunrise. The rage in Cassian's eyes began to recede, replaced by a glimmer of awareness, then confusion, and finally, a dawning clarity. Tears streamed down his face as he looked at Alara, no longer a beast, but a man. He whispered a single word, "Help." The chains, which moments before seemed essential, now looked cruel and unnecessary. The soldiers, stunned, hesitated before slowly unlocking them. The crowd erupted, some cheered, some wept, all were moved. Valerius stood frozen, his face a mask of disbelief and fury. His plan had backfired spectacularly. He had intended to prove her God powerless, but instead, he had provided the stage for a profound display of compassion and healing. The people weren't just impressed by a miracle. They were touched by the love Alara had shown. They saw that her faith wasn't about power or spectacle, but about a deep, unwavering love for humanity, even for the most broken among them. But Valerius was not a man to accept defeat. His heart, hardened by pride, only grew colder. While the city celebrated and many new believers sought out Alara, Valerius plotted his revenge. He couldn't attack her directly now, not with the people so firmly on her side. So he decided to use the very man she had saved. He approached Cassian in secret, preying on his lingering confusion and vulnerability. He twisted the truth, whispering lies into his ear. "She didn't heal you," Valerius hissed. "She used dark magic to control you, to make you her puppet. She will use you and then discard you. Cassian, still fragile, was torn. He remembered Alara's kindness, but Valerius's words were like poison seeping into the cracks of his recovering mind. He planted a seed of doubt, a seed that began to grow in the darkness of Cassian's fear. Valerius promised Cassian power and protection, things he had never known. He convinced Cassian that betraying Alara was the only way to be truly free. Torn between gratitude and this new, insidious fear, Cassian made a devastating choice. He agreed to help Valerius. He would lead Alara into a trap. One evening, Cassian went to Alara, his face a mask of distress. He told her his younger sister was gravely ill in a secluded home outside the city walls, and begged for her help. Alara's heart went out to him. Without a moment's hesitation, she agreed to go, her only thought to help the man she had brought back from the brink. She followed him out of the city gates as dusk settled along a quiet path winding through the tall trees. The air grew cool, and an uneasy silence fell between them. Alara felt a strange sense of foreboding but dismissed it, trusting the man beside her. As they reached a clearing deep in the woods, the trap was sprung. Roman soldiers, hidden among the trees, emerged, their armor glinting in the twilight. Valerius stepped out from behind them, his face triumphant. "Did you really think it would be so easy?" he mocked. Alara looked at Cassian, her eyes not filled with anger, but with a profound sadness. She saw the shame and conflict in his face. He couldn't meet her gaze. He had led her to her capture. He had betrayed the one person who had shown him unconditional kindness. The soldiers seized her. As they dragged her back towards the city, a prisoner, Alara did not struggle. Her spirit remained unbroken. She looked at Cassian one last time, and her expression was not one of condemnation, but of forgiveness. It was this look, more than any accusation, that shattered Cassian's soul. The weight of his betrayal crashed down on him. He had been promised freedom, but he had never felt more shackled. He realized Valerius had not freed him from Alara's control, but had enslaved him with his own fear and deceit. His true chains were not the ones the soldiers had removed, but the ones he had just forged himself. The next morning, Alara stood before the Roman governor, falsely accused by Valerius of witchcraft and inciting rebellion. Valerius presented Cassian as his star witness. But when Cassian was called to speak, he was a changed man. The events of the night had broken him, and then remade him. He looked at the crowd, at Valerius, and at Alara, who stood calm and dignified. With a voice shaking with emotion, Cassian did not condemn her. Instead, he confessed everything. He told the crowd of Alara's kindness and his own weakness. He exposed Valerius's lies, his manipulation, and his cruel plot. A stunned silence fell over the court. Valerius was enraged, his plan crumbling before his eyes. The crowd, which had been swayed by the accusations, now murmured in support of Alara. They had seen the truth, not in a display of power, but in an act of profound repentance and the quiet strength of forgiveness. The governor, seeing the tide of public opinion turn, had no choice. He dismissed the charges against Alara and ordered an investigation into Valerius. True faith, Alara had shown, wasn't about avoiding suffering or winning every battle. It was about the love you show in the face of betrayal, the grace you offer to the one who has wronged you, and the unwavering light that no darkness can ever truly extinguish. Her greatest test became her most powerful testimony. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more.